For a second there, I really did think that not Man City. We are going to be talking about Manchester City, but I really did think that FC Barcelona were going to do something in the very last minute of the January transfer window for this year. But it seems like Barcelona will not do anything. Yes, Barcelona have gained some funds for the winter transfer window, but Barcelona's not going to be doing anything. It's over, and that's it. We're going to continue with the same squad. Now, I'm going to be explaining to you guys exactly what has been happening in the past 48 hours. So we heard reports about Nico Gonzalez going to Manchester City, and it got quiet for the past 48 hours. But then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, we heard the operation being completed, that Nico Gonzalez is going to Manchester City, and he's going to be going for 60 million euros, meaning that Barcelona will be gaining 24 to 25 million euros from this deal, because Barcelona do have a 40% sell-on clause, which is really good. Barcelona have done some great business. And so the moment, this happened, everybody was like, okay, can Barcelona do something last minute? Can Barcelona maybe try and go for Marcus Rashford? But, he just signed with Aston Villa, and we were just having a lot of speculations. We're like, could Barcelona go for this player or that player? Maybe have some sort of reinforcement. But we had some reports coming out stating that Barcelona is not going to be doing anything last minute at all whatsoever. It says here that Barcelona consider the winter transfer window as closed. There will be no surprise exits or signings in the last few hours. So even though, yes, we have gained 24 to 25 million euros from this operation of Nico Gonzalez to Man City, we're not doing anything. And here's what's very interesting. Barcelona could have gained even more money during the winter transfer window with the sale of Pablo Torre, because it states here that Porto 3 hours ago were going to go all out for Pablo Torre in the final hours of the market. So they wanted him, right? And the reason why Porto wanted him was because they lost Nico Gonzalez and they need a brand new midfielder. And so I'm like, oh my God, like we're going to get 24 million euros for Nico Gonzalez and then maybe sell Pablo Torre for, let's just say 20 to 25 million euros. You're telling me that Barcelona can gain 50 or 49 million euros from the winter transfer window? That would be amazing business. And for two players who don't really make an impact to this club. I mean, like Pablo Torre, right? He has a few goals, a few assists for us, right? He is pretty good for the minutes that he has been given, but he's not really definitive like that compared to Gavi, Dani Olmo. And then we talk about Nico Gonzalez. He's not even our player. We could have brought him back if we wanted to, but he's not our player. So I'm like, oh my God, like 50 million euros for these two players. That is going to be amazing business. But it states here that Barcelona have informed Porto that they want to keep Pablo Torre at the club, as Hansi Flick has denied the transfer. Porto have already started exploring other options. And Tony Juanamorti has claimed that besides Pablo Torre, two other Barcelona players received loan offers today, including from a Champions League club. However, the response was negative. They will stay at FC Barcelona. So as for that piece of news, in terms of who we're trying to get our players on a loan deal, we have no idea. We don't know who was the buying club or whoever that club was, and we don't even know who the two players were within the squad. I do think that one of them was Ansu Fati, because Jorge Mendes was trying to do some last minute operations. I don't know who else it could be, but I do think that one of them was for sure Ansu Fati, and maybe somebody like Hector Fort. I don't think it's gonna be somebody like Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, or Lewandowski. There was no way. Not even Frankie De Jong. I do think that it had to be one of the youngsters, players who were under the age of 23 years old. So it did not happen, right? Barcelona basically said, no, we want to keep our two players to send them off on loan deals. No, we want them to stay at Barcelona. And then as for Pablo Torre, they have also said no. Pretty interesting, right? Because you would assume that within Barcelona's, situation, you would assume that Barcelona would say, yes, take Pablo Torre, we need money. But the fact that Hansi Flick has said, no, keep Pablo Torre, it goes to show, right? And I'm right. I knew I was right. It goes to show that Barcelona want to have at least 3 to 4 number 10 options. I know that this is not supposed to be a video about Musiala and stuff like that. I know I do talk about Musiala a lot, but I'm telling you guys, it makes a lot of sense. This is a team that needs 3 to 4 number 10s in the squad and versatile number 10s. That is the reason why I believe a player like Musiala or Florian Wirtz makes a lot of sense, is because Hansi Flick denied letting go of Pablo Torre because he knows that he needs more number 10s, even with Gavi, even with Dani Olmo, even with sometimes Frankie de Jong, who plays in that position. He needs number 10s. He did not want to let go of Pablo Torre, but for what? You guys know why. That is because he needs backups. He needs great quality depth. He does not want to let go of these players. And so when we actually get to the summer of 2025, where we have 3 total months to really rejuvenate and enhance our squad, you better bet that Hansi Flick is going to be saying, okay, I have Pablo Torre, but can we improve on top of that? Can we have better quality on the bench? It's going to happen. He wants multiple 10s. But that's besides the point, right? I'm not going to be speaking about that anymore. Yeah, so Pablo Torre is going to continue with us. I think that he deserves it because Pablo Torre has, he's a pretty reliable player. He does not get injured. And if we look at his stats on here, Pablo Torre has a contract with Barcelona until the summer of 2026. So there is that possibility of Pablo leaving in the summer of 2025 with 1 year left in his contract at the age of 21 years old. Still very much reliable, like I have said, because his numbers are pretty good. 12 games that he has played so far, 8 in La Liga, 2 in the Copa, 2 in the Champions League, 0 in the Supercopa, but he has 4 goals and 3 assists. It's really good, right? That's 7 goal contributions in 12 matches. So on average, he's averaging about 0.8 goal contributions per 90 minutes. So Pablo Torre is very effective. He has 2 assists in the Copa del Rey, 1 goal in the Copa del Rey, 3 goals and 1 assist in La Liga. Once again, really good numbers. And I think that if we continue to use Pablo Torre through the next 4 to 5 months of the season, maybe we can make him reach, I would say, maybe 8 goals and 5 assists. 8 goals and 5 assists for a player who might play 24 games at the end. I can see this player getting sold for around 20 million euros. It would be a great deal because he went from Racing Santander to Barcelona back in the summer of 2022 for 5 million euros. So there's a possibility we can quadruple his fee by the time he does leave in the summer. Yes, even though there is 1 year left in his contract. Don't even be surprised if Pablo Torre gets a contract extension only for the fact that they want to increase his value. Good numbers, and props to Barcelona for saying no, right? It's showing that they're not weak. They're not willing to give up everything for just money, and they want to be 100%. I would just say solidified in all areas. Maybe they had that feeling that, if they said yes and they let Pablo Torre go to Porto, that they might not have found a solution within the next 3 to 4 hours of the transfer window. Maybe there just wasn't enough time, which is the reason why Barcelona just said no. But going back to Nico Gonzalez, right? I'm going to be speaking about Man City for just a few minutes because I do think that Nico Gonzalez going to Man City might come out to be one of the best transfers that City have made in the past 3 years. And I say that because this is a City team that's very weak right now. Very weak. And it is a team that I would say needs to rejuvenate a lot. And Pep Guardiola did explain this a couple of days ago. He said that I have midfielders who are over the age of 30 years old, and a lot of them, and they're tired. And with what Guardiola has been asking for from the players is he needs massive energy, massive focus, and you cannot really get that from players who are over the age of 30 years old. Hence the reason why, when we look at his squad, right, players like Kevin De Bruyne, Silva, who else, Gundogan, cannot really give the same energy compared to how it was before. Man City are struggling, and they need to rejuvenate their midfield, and it makes sense for them to go for Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez would really rejuvenate everything because Nico Gonzalez is a player who plays as an 8 and also as a 6, so he can be in the double pivot position next to Kovacic or next to Silva, or Nico Gonzalez can go into the position of the 10 and be between Savinho and Foden. It's very easy. And if you look at their last game where they got demolished by Arsenal and they lost 5-1. I saw a team that was weak, a team that felt uninspired, that couldn't control anything. And if we look at the stats of Man City and their midfielders, to be more specific, they had Kovacic and Silva in the double pivot position, and Silva just looks lost. This is not the first time we have seen Silva get a 4.5 rating. And we have to look at this picture and say, okay, Nico Gonzalez needs to be here. He should. Because the only player that is reliable right now in the midfield is, I would just say sometimes Kovacic, but he's very, I would just say inconsistent. And the most consistent player for sure, it is Rodri, but he's not available until the end of the year, right? Until next season, he'll be back. And Rodri is 28 years old. He'll be turning 29 next season, so he is going to be a little bit older. And that is the reason why they're looking at somebody like Nico Gonzalez. And this is the reason why many of the people who support City are looking at Nico Gonzalez as their next Rodri already. Is because they're desperate. I understand that, you know? And it is a huge, but I mean huge, wake-up call for City that they have to do better. Because they are going to be facing Real Madrid very soon in the Champions League. And when I look at the City side, bro, like Real Madrid's strengths directly counter Man City's weaknesses right now, which makes me believe that Madrid will come out on top if City don't get their shit together. You know, Madrid is known for their composure under pressure, elite transition play, strong leadership, and these are qualities that City do not have. And so when City do not have a strong leadership, when they don't have easy transitions from the back, when they're not composed under pressure, dude, Madrid will eat you alive, dude. We know how Madrid like to be in situations like that. Like it's kind of like when a shark smells blood in water, they go for that and they attack and they eat it. That is what Madrid is. When they see that a team has a weakness and they see that, oh, okay, that's their weakness, let's attack that. Madrid do that 100% well. So it's just City's structured possession game and tactical discipline right now is so weak. I'm like, how are you gonna get trashed by a team like Arsenal that have not won a single trophy in the past like few years? How are you gonna let that happen? It's insane. So it is what it is, and let's see if Nico Gonzalez fixes the whole thing. Overall, Man City has spent 172 million euros in the January transfer window alone. 172 million in this winter transfer window. And that went through Nico Gonzalez. It went through another player named Abdul Qadir. I don't know who that is. He's coming from RC Lens. We have Omar Marmoush coming from Frankfurt, who costs around 65 to 70 million euros. They also bought Vitor Reis from Palmeiras, which is a team in Brazil. And in total, they have spent 172 million euros on their squad. They really want to rejuvenate their squad. Like I've said before, this team that they have currently without these transfers, they're old. Like, bro, Kovacic old, De Bruyne old, Gundogan old, Silva old. They're all older than the age or about to hit 30 years old. The only young ones I can see here is Claudio Echeverri, Rico Lewis, Haaland, I would say also Phil Foden going outside to the attack, right? Oscar Bob, young, Savinho, young, but what's most important is their midfield. And their midfield cannot combat the physicalness of the Premier League, nor in the Champions League. But bro, like Man City spent 172 million euros. Like to put that into perspective, Barcelona spent 91 million euros when you combine the summer of 2023 and the summer of 2024. When you combine those two transfer windows from Barcelona, they have spent a total of 91. City in the January transfer window alone spent 172.1 million. Talk about fair game, right? So like, I would really love to live in a world where football is all about fairness and everybody can spend equal amounts and everybody has equal access. But you know, with Barcelona having all of these regulations and restrictions under Javier Tebas, he's saying no, you can only spend $5 from this 1 million euros that you have gained. Of course, teams like City are going to be having the upper hand when they do face each other. I mean, like, luckily for Barcelona, we have a great sporting structure, a great academy, and that is going to be the reason why Barcelona will find success. It's not because we have the best resources like City. It is because we raise the best academy and because we have the best sporting philosophy. Even though Barcelona spent 91 million euros after 2 years, it does not mean anything because we have rejuvenated and improved our squad with Yamal, with Alejandro Balde, with Gavi, with Casado, Bernal, Kubarsi, and so forth. No other team can do exactly what we do, which makes us very special and a anomaly. And once again, to put this into perspective, with City spending 172 million euros, the last time Barcelona spent more than that, right, more than 172, was in the summer of 2019, before the pandemic, where Barcelona has spent 304 million euros on Griezmann, Frenkie, Neto, Pedri, and Firpo. And so this made sense. To spend 304 million euros on Frenkie, Griezmann, Neto, Pedri, Firpo, it makes sense. But with City spending 172 on players that I have no idea who these players are besides Nico Gonzalez, it goes to show that City can do whatever they want. Spend how much they want. They don't care. They're like, they ask their their owners, please give me another 100 million. Can we get 90 million for the right wing position? Let's get another 200 million for the defense. Can we do this? And they can spend as much as they want to. There is no regulations. There is no limitations. If only Barcelona were like that. Can you imagine if Barcelona had that type of power? I would have loved to see that. And this is the reason why I want the Super League. Yes, I am pro Super League. I want it. But it is what it is, and we have to act accordingly. What else? I guess that's it, right? Like that is it for the January transfer window. Barcelona will do no more. And does that mean that Barcelona is going to end up suffering for the next 4 months? No, I don't think so. I think that this team is very strong. With Dani Olmo now coming back and will be available for the match against Valencia, I believe in this team more than any other team in the world. More than Bayern, more than City, more than Madrid, more than whoever you want to name. Barcelona look like the strongest team in the world, and yes, even more than Liverpool, in my opinion. With Yamal, with Rafinha, Lewandowski, with Pedri, Gavi, Balde, Kubarsi, Arujo, Koundé, this team is the best in the world, regardless whether we spent nothing in the January transfer window. But that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.